session would be one of our very own, our founder, the father of 1PD Ops, I would say, Mr. Vishnu Vankayala, to give his keynote session.
Welcome. This is our second edition of 1PD Ops Summit. We had a lot of control in terms of what we can do and how we run the campaigns and what kind of delivers we want. And eventually, we know who to target exactly. And I have seen a lot of Facebook videos, a lot of people coming up with interest-based targeting. This is what you should go after. This is what you should be doing. And this is the area you go. Like if you're looking to sell, let's say, luxury brands, then you create interest-based groups and then you go after targeting. It's gone, right? And you eventually wanted to scale the campaign. The moment you increase the budget, your ROAS will go down, right? So with zero control on what we want to do, how are we going to do the job? That's exactly what we are going to speak today. And I'm going to take a little bit more of time to explain the basics so that you would be able to put things into the context as much as possible. Right now, whatever we try to do, whether we try to scale the campaigns, whether we want to launch new customer campaigns. Okay, you have a new goal, which is like practically go and get new customer acquisition, or you wanted to test new creatives. Every single thing is sort of blurred. And whenever you go and switch on the campaign and you want to get new acquisition, most of your budget goes into old buyers, which you have seen like existing customers, okay? You don't want to switch off the existing customers because the moment you switch off the existing customers, your ROAS will go down, right? Because the existing customers will be always better. So with all these things, right now, we are practically looks like a blind barrier where we would hope every single day that this will work. And every single day something is broken, something is not coming up on the screen. And whenever you try to get things like, hey, I want to do this, but this is not working. And whenever you want to retarget, your audience size would be like, hey, this is not reachable. And there is a red mark whenever you create a campaign inside the Facebook saying this is not reachable, your audience pool size is gone. And especially if you're in health and wellness, your conversion event itself is gone. So with all these things, the major aspect, what we're going to do or how we're going to change, if you're not able to learn this, we practically don't have a business, right? As a marketer, where we generate a lot of revenue for the business, and if you're not able to do our job properly, eventually the business is going to go down. So we are living in a world where we are not a marketer anymore. The kind of stress you guys go through is almost equivalent to a stock trader. We should get paid more, as a matter of fact, like hedge fund guys. Okay, but today the kind of stress you all go through, I see a lot of bald heads, including mine, purely because sorry guys, purely because there's a lot of pressure we go through every single day. Every day, morning 9 o'clock, you go through like a maniac. What is my ROAS? What is my CAC? Okay, that's the kind of stress we all in a today's world. And who are we going to thank? We're going to thank our Mark. So in last year, Q2 earning call, Mark said an interesting thing. When I saw that for the first time, I was like little elated. But when I started implementing, when I started seeing those things inside the campaign, I felt like, what the hell? Okay, what the fuck? That's the exact thing. What he said is quite interesting. Tell us your budget, we'll do the rest. What does he mean is, I'll just explain that the whole quote. He says, you give the budget, you give the business objective, and we will do the work, okay? If he is going to do that, what the hell are we going to do, right? What do we do as a marketer? And we can't do a lot if he is going to do every single thing. But that's not true, right? Bono also said, what he said, they're trying to figure out, and meanwhile, they're taking away the control. But if the ROAS is gone, they're not firing the Mark Zuckerberg, they're actually firing us. And every single KPI meeting, every single account renewal, we go to the brand, we go to our manager, we sit with them, we tell them, hey, this is what happening, this is what happening. They are not ready to understand. They're going to say, like, I gave you 1 lakh, where is my 4 lakhs? And they're not be happy with, I gave you 1 lakh, you gave me 80,000. And I have also have my cost of inventory and cost of running. And I, bloody hell, I also need to pay you. So with all these things in hand, when the control is gone, what are we going to do in the next future years, and how as a marketers we're going to do very very well, what kind of controls we have is the rest of the session. But I can give you like, this is what you should do, but if I don't give you the fundamentals of why these will work, then eventually what you would hope is, you would again hope like a simple band-aid. What I don't want you to give you is a band-aid. I want to give you the concepts behind every single thing we are trying to do, so that you understand, put things together, you start acting like a pure warrior. So that's the background behind it. So every single day, like I said, 9 o'clock in the morning, we all go like, Baba, please, where is my ROAS? It's almost like stock trading, and market is up. You can't control the market. How can you control the market? ROAS, you can't control the bloody ROAS either. Okay, so if he blesses, he blesses. If he doesn't bless, we all go like a couple of more beers. Let's go sleep. There is nothing we can do. Okay, but we can drive, we have more power in our hand, and that power is basically called as signals, right? Where Mark Zuckerberg or anyone who is running the ads come and sit in front of us, kneel down in front of us, is basically to share the data, which is nothing but the first party data. Okay, so the ball simply moves from their court into our court, or the weightage moves from their side to our side, the moment how we structure the data, how we train the platform, right? It's like a chat GPT. There is a chat GPT, and it assume it knows everything. Okay, it doesn't know everything, but assume it knows everything. How do you control the answer of what you want, right? What is the way you actually get the answer? What is the term for it? Better prompting, right? So prompt engineering, because it's a machine learning model which has all the data it wants, it has every single thing it needs, but if it needs to respond to you, what you give is prompt, right? And the same thing is what the signal is. You have a lot of first party data with you, and if it has to react to you, then you need to send structure the signals what you send back into the platform. Okay, and whenever you send a wrong signal, the algorithm is going to learn something wrong about you or your business, and it is going to bring you a worst kind of results for you. Simple example. When we started this summit ads, right, you would have seen tons of ads. When we started the summit ads, my guy said, since we don't have purchases yet, obviously, without the first purchase, you are not going to use the conversion event, right? When you start choosing the conversion event, my guy said, since we don't have a lot of purchases, we want to optimize for page crawls. And we started the campaign with page crawls as a objective. Can anybody of you tell me what is the age group it went behind for the first 3-4 days? My guys have spent like 50,000 rupees, rock solid, and they missed this small thing. But where do you think the ads have shown? And we have spent like 48,000 rupees, and approximately 38 or 39,000 rupees went into a segment which will never convert. Okay, not in a single guy or a lady would be there from this segment. Where it went and shown? Can anybody of you guess? I'll give you a hint. Age breakdown. 18. Okay. 40, 45. Okay. So 38,000 rupees have spent on 45, not even 45, 55 bloody plus. Okay. I go into a shocker. Okay, am I that old or what is it happening? Okay, the only change we did, no creative changes, nothing. No targeting. Again, this is a broad campaign, Advantage Plus broad campaign. Nothing changed. All we changed is bloody conversion event. We sent a so I eventually made a purchase. I sent the purchase back into the event, and I was able to choose that purchase conversion event into the campaign, and we started it. And eventually, my targeting has changed in the next second 1 or 2 days. It went against 25 to 33 or 34, that particular bracket, 34 plus that particular bracket. Okay, real proof, and we have done that. We learned this last time as well, but my guys sort of missed it. But this time, same thing has happened. No other changes, just the conversion event. Okay, so that is the power what we have. We have data, and if you want these ad platforms to come and sit in front of us, kneel down in front of us, beg us, the only thing we have, the only power we have right now is data. How you structure it, how you send it, how you use it to your advantage is going to define your winning in the next few years. So I'm going to spend a little bit of more time. I'm extremely sorry that is a little blurred, but I'll explain you step by step. Why that happened is the important aspect I want to talk about. And the primary reason why that happened. So what you're seeing here is a real paper which was released by Meta on how the ad system works in the background. Okay. So when you design a model, machine learning model, there are simply 3-4 steps. I'm oversimplifying it, but in honestly, there are only 3-4 steps. First is called, what you're seeing here is a feature engineering. So in the bottom, I'll share this slide and things in your community. And here, what you're seeing is an event. Event is not just the event we are talking about, like add to cart, click, purchase. It is also the events which is happening inside the Facebook platform, like seeing an ad, that is an event. Clicking an ad, that is an event. Spending time on the ad, that is an event. And liking, sharing, commenting, those are all events. Those are all the events which is happening inside the Facebook platform. And then you come off the Facebook, there are a lot of events happening, like page view, add to cart, click, purchase. All those things are events. So for both the models, this is the previous model Facebook has been using since 2023, 2024. This is a sequential learning model Facebook launched very recently. So when you see this, these are the two models upgraded, where what they are showing here is primarily those viewing, add to cart, and all those things, how they are grouping this together. And the final one is called as ad conversion. And eventually, the lot of things, the mathematical things they do, like event embedding and all those stuff, and it will go and say which is the relevant ad to you. The reason why we are going to stick to relevant ads is because Facebook is practically making money by showing you the relevant ad or by showing you the relevant content. That's the primary job for the Facebook, not to get you the business. That is not their primary job. The primary job is to say, would Vishnu engage with this ad? The engagement can be liking, sharing. The engagement can be clicking, going to the website and buying. So that's the full track side of how the Facebook works. Now, with this understanding, the important aspect is the sequence. The sequence is basically which says Vishnu has seen this ad today. He has liked this ad after second time, third time, which is your target frequency. And eventually he has gone to the website and he made the purchase. So the whole sequence of actions is more important than just sending one conversion event. Always remember, sequence is very, very important. Like Kish was mentioning about, when you build the model, the sequencing is practically important. Without sequence, it's all very blurred to the model. Now, how many of you seen this? All right. This is inside every single Instagram and Facebook account. And what you're seeing here is practically any website that particular person has visited, there is a data inside that account. Okay, this is part of Facebook privacy transparency kind of thing. You can download your own data. Now, what you're seeing here is my data, all the websites I have been visiting in the last few months. You can see here all these websites I have been doing it. And I made sure I didn't visit the wrong website so that you don't find me guilty. But these are the websites I have been to and looking at a lot of this data. Now, whenever you share something with Facebook, this is exactly how Facebook remembers you. Okay. These are the events you're sharing with Facebook, starting from page view. And obviously, they don't name any other event for privacy reasons, but they call it as page view and custom. Okay. Anything which is like product viewed, add to cart, blah, 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 blah. Everything is custom, but everything else they name it as page view. So as you see here, this is the kind of data they've been hoarding about me. Unfortunately, this is powered by CustomerLabs in the background, but this is the kind of data, whatever we have in the Facebook. Everybody can actually go ahead and download. You can find that in the account center. It is way hidden inside, but you would be able to download your own data to understand how this whole event thing actually works. Okay. Now, with this in mind, what happens is how much data you send, how well you send it, that's the algorithm eventually learns. So if you break the data, automatically everything breaks because algorithm only gets half of it. But what happened is this bloody iOS thing came in, and this iOS came and gave a big knock on each of our faces. It is not just the iOS, it is GDPR, the DPDP, which is going to come in India. Every single thing says privacy, and every single thing says make sure you handle the data very, very well. I go to a website here and I do an event, and that particular event needs to be associated with my profile, right? You understand this concept. So I make an event that should be associated with my profile. If it's not associating with my profile, it's basically like, okay, who has done that event? Okay, I could do an event, and if it associates with you or it associates with you, then whole algorithm actually breaks. So when I make an event, when I do an event, it has to associate Vishnu has done it, because that's the login experience Facebook is making sure. So that's how the whole ad retrieval works. So which means whenever you send an event, you make sure the meta understands, okay, this guy is actually has done this particular event. So what happened? Our guys came in and said, I'm going to mask all the cookies, I'm going to nuke them, and I'm going to stop sending the IP address. I'm going to stop sending every single shit about you so that Facebook doesn't actually understand what you're doing inside the website. Okay, Facebook still has a lot of information about you inside their platform, but this is happening off the Facebook. So which means it doesn't just simply get what you are doing, because you're truncating the identity. So this is the first and foremost problem we all faced in 2017, 2018 in UK. But the Facebook did not budge much when the GDPR came in. But when the iOS launched, which is the infamous 2021 April iOS thing happened. It is fortunate for us because we have started seeing a lot of growth in CustomerLabs. So I'm glad that happened. But it is, for the marketing community, it is a big blast. Okay, so this is what happened in with iOS. So iOS truncates the identity, so it will never be able to match the event you are sending back into the Facebook or Google or TikTok. This logic applies to every single ad platform. So whenever I give a reference, I am giving a reference of Meta, but don't assume it is only applying to Meta, but it applies to every single platform out there. Now, what I want to show you is a quick demo between two brands. on how the whole thing practically works here. So if you look at it, the first half of this brand is eventually powered by Shopify, and the next half is powered by one-click checkout called Go Quick. Okay, and whenever someone comes and lands on the website, what you should do, like I said, the identity is important. Now there are two systems. One system is powering one identity, and the second system is powering another identity. Okay, please don't let the systems do that, because you are breaking the whole bloody signals. Okay, if any of the one click checkout guys comes and says we will power the bottom funnel events and you just switch it on, just don't do it. Okay, it's the most stupidest thing we could ever do, because it just bloody breaks the connection between your first top funnel events and the bottom funnel events, because you cannot put things together about a user, because one system is sending something with different identities and another system comes in and say this user name is 123, and then second this comes and says XYZ. Now user 1 has sent page view add to cart as a page view product view, and this comes and says XYZ has sent add to cart initiate checkout purchase. Now both the links have gone, right? It simply doesn't make sense. If one click checkout, use it, but use it for this one click. Okay, so this is with Man Company, and like I said, sorry, the internet is a little slow, but what happens here is the top funnel events are being powered by one, and the second funnel events are being powered by the other system. Eventually, the identity breaks. Whereas when you look at W for Women, the whole system is being powered by one system. You don't have to stick with CustomerLabs. You can use any system as you want. You don't have any problem. But there should be something called external ID. Okay. What happens with external ID is you click an ad, you get FB click ID, you save the FB click ID, and the FB click ID eventually attached with another ID. It's like linking your PAN number with Aadhaar card. Now you have Aadhaar card which can be referenced across your bank accounts, which can be referenced across your everything else, and that is your external ID, right? So FB click ID, you have external ID, and any event you send beyond this particular phase, you can just simply attach the external ID and send it. Okay. Again, this documentation, we will post it on the community so that you can read through the documentation of external ID of Facebook. And this is the important aspect. And whereas, like I said, here, I don't know, it's taking time, but here practically there is no external ID, which means the identity is broke. So system needs to really struggle hard to find ways to get it done. Okay. You understand the identity, right? Because now we're going to go one step deeper. Without understanding identity, it's going to be very hard for you to understand and put things together. Understanding identity is good, great. Now, EMQ. How many of you are happy about EMQ 9.2? No, you should be happy about EMQ 9.2, but EMQ shows you the metric of one event. So the moment you have EMQ of 9.2, don't just be happy. Like I said, anybody can increase your EMQ by just sending extra parameters. That is not the point what you want to achieve. What you want to achieve is whether your top funnel events and the bottom funnel events have a singular identity. While the EMQ is important, but don't take it out of the context. Okay, my purchase has 9.3. No, that doesn't work like that. Okay, so you should be really careful about how you measure the EMQ. EMQ should be high, but you can actually gimmick the EMQs by sending a lot of parameters, but that is not exactly what we want because it is not helping the model. How are you going to solve this? Quite simple. You have to go ahead and learn something called 1P, that is first party domain server-side cookies. Again, there are two ways to do it. One, using CNAME, other using /. Like for example, whenever you go to, let's say, CustomerLabs.com, you can set these cookies via the CNAME domain mapping, which you should not do because Safari will cut short that cookie in 24 hours. That's something you cannot do. That is called CNAME clocking. Okay, that terminology called CNAME clocking, that is not something you should do. You should do like path. So the server side cookies will be set from customerlabs.com/metrics. The first party cookie will be set by the domain itself. That's way the cookie stays literally forever. When I say forever, it's like forever, forever. Okay, and that is how you should actually start implementing the first party cookies. The moment you have first party cookies, what happens? I click an ad, I landed on your website. Now I have FB Click ID. I set a first party cookie. Now I create that first party cookie as an external ID. And all these things from this moment, whatever I do, I eventually would be able to link to a single profile. Still an anonymous user. They haven't been a known user yet. They haven't came and said, this is Vishnu. That is fine. But then what we are able to do is the entire anonymous tracking for months together, we can save it and we can hold on as a singular identity and create a neat 360-degree profile like this. Okay, so what you're seeing here is page view, search mode, etc. And then what you're seeing is create user. Create user is the area where they have shared their identities. So even before they share their identities, you would be able to track the entire anonymous session and keep sending the information back into Facebook. So this is the identity and management, what you should do. Now, just having the identity, creating that profile makes zero sense. What you should ideally do is, how do you translate this information? How do you do that into signals? Is the area where you and I are going to thrive for the next, I don't know, maybe a couple of years or 5 years or 10 years. We don't know, but this is the next step, what you should understand. So how are you going to take this and turn that into signals, right? Let's do some exercise. I wanted to, again, like I said, once you understand the identity, now I want to go deeper about how the machine learning algorithm works. Whenever you go to a model and ask, which is an animal, what does the model will tell here? It will only tell yes or no. Okay, it can tell animal or not animal. So in this case, we ask an model saying, which is an animal, the model will say animal, not an animal. Okay, like I said, machine learning algorithms or the LLMs doesn't have brain. Okay, that's something we need to understand, we need to accept. And they don't have brain, they work on a very different area. So which means you say, is it an animal? This is not an animal? Tell me, okay, this is an animal. This is not an animal. Okay. Now, it would make sense to classify this a little bit further to say, this is an animal, this is a human. Okay, than bluntly saying animal, not animal. We have to train the model in a way it will say this is an animal, this is an human. Okay, it would make more sense. Now you have a little bit of more context than just simply saying animal, not animal, animal, not animal. Now it's saying, okay, this is an animal, this is a human. Okay, this is one level step down where you are training the algorithm saying classify this properly. Now, if I show this, what the model will tell now. So you train the model for animal and human. Now, what ideally you would say, but what the model is going to say. What would be your answer? Quick. Dog and cat. Okay. Anything else? Animal, animal. Are you a machine? So the machine will go and say it's animal, animal. Okay. But a human would say it's dog and cat. Right? That's exactly what we want. So you don't want, when you show two different animals, it's say animal, animal. That doesn't make sense. It makes sense to a top level, but ideally what we want is we want the machine to say dog and cat. Now, what happens? Dog, dog, dog. Right? As a human, can we differentiate? We can differentiate, right? But so far, what you have done is you have trained the model with dog, dog, dog. And whenever you show an image, the model is going to say dog, dog, dog. But that's not exactly what we want, because we can train the model, go one step further and then say, okay, this is a dog, but it's German Shepherd. This is a dog and it's Pomeranian. Okay. And this is a dog and that's Labrador, right? This would make a lot of sense, right? Yes? Okay, if this is making a lot of sense, then why the hell are you still optimizing your campaigns for just purchases when you can actually segment those purchases into multiple areas and train the algorithm? Why are you still saying dog? Okay, why do you want to say dog? So whenever you go to a Facebook, whenever you go, or even Google Ads, and whenever you're going to choose the conversion optimization as a generic one, always remember dog. Okay, and always remember that. Okay, this is like a life lesson. And whenever you're going to choose the optimization, always remember dog. Whether can we say dog, or should we go ahead and say okay, Pomerian or German Shepherd or Labrador? Okay, that's one question you should always ask. Would it make sense to say dog, or the breed of the dog? So we are coming to a part now that we all agree, now that we all understand dog makes no sense. So we're gonna say we wanna sort of take the same purchase, segregate it into multiple ways. There are sessions where these guys going to explain how to split those purchases, split those events, and be able to train the algorithm. They will go in deeper, but I'm not going to do it deeper. But I'm going to talk about just the concept. The way of splitting the signals and trying to train the algorithm is a concept which is emerging in US a lot. And if you heard this name again, I'm the one who is introduced like Arnab Goswami, and you heard from me for the first time. Okay, that's signal engineering. Okay, so this is going to be boom. A lot of people going to talk about it. And if you have any influencer, anybody who is looking up in US, and if you're following them, they will talk about it in next 2 months, 3 months, or 6 months, or 1 year. And you heard it from me first. Okay, so signal engineering is quite simple. You take the same signals where you are doing like add to carts, where you're doing like uh, purchase or initial checkouts. You transform that in a way you want, and you send those signals so that the model would understand what that is and be able to respond to you in a way. Okay, just a quick simple example what we have done for uh, one of our biggest client. I'm sure you know this brand, right? Okay, so whenever you go to a, okay, I hope the internet works, but I'm going to make it work. So whenever you go and look at this particular page, what would be the event you would assume going here? Page view, product view, right? Now, Rare Rabbit had three brands, okay, and they had men's, women, and kids. They had three websites and they had three different teams working together. And I think about a year ago, they wanted to merge all the things and brought it to House of Rare. Okay, I am sure you would have seen this transition happening in Bangalore. So they brought it into House of Rare. Now they cracked a big problem. Two different teams, three different teams. Okay, men taken care by one team, women taken care by another team, and the kids section taken care by another team. What they ideally wanted to do is practically, in this case, it's like a top broad level, but it can be SKU level, it can be price level, whichever the way you want to drive that revenue eventually. So in this case, if the model is going to, or if you're going to just send add to cart for this particular product and add to cart for the one product and add to cart for the kids product, it's just add to cart. But what they would rather want to do is they actually split those events into multiple ones. You see here, right? RR product viewed. Okay. Rather just sending product viewed, what they started doing is RR product viewed. So very specific signal for the men's brand. And when you go to a women's product, they would be sending it as rarism product viewed. So this is how you would be able to control what you train the algorithm with. So now that you have cover, and you would be able to do a lot of these things much better with signal engineering. The term we used called custom event optimization, but there is a new term which emerged in the market called signal engineering. And I like the term, I'm going to adapt it. So whenever you heard of this term, please remember this is what they mean by signal engineering. Now, This is what I have shown you is at the top level, but can we do it at the purchase level? We can do it at the purchase level. Simple example, you send a purchase, the purchase has the distribution of your products starting at, let's say, 400, 500, 600, or 800 rupees up to, let's say, 45, 50,000 rupees. Now, when you have such a wide distribution, let's say you have a CAC goal, and if you put the CAC goal as 1500, you are paying 1500 rupees for some product which is like 800 rupees. Doesn't make sense. At the same time, if you put a CAC goal of 800, 900, people not going to buy where the product is more than 2000, 2500, or maybe 3000 or 3500. So what you need to do is you need to split that purchase event in an order saying low AOV, mid AOV, and high AOV, so that when you give a CAC goal to the algorithm or the ROAS goal to the algorithm, it would eventually understand this is what you means. Now the distribution is very small. The algorithm would be able to understand it much, much better. Okay. I know this is slightly technical, but it's quite easy, right? So you cannot have a CAC goal of 1200, 1300 for 800 rupees product. You cannot keep the CAC goal of 700, 800 because you're not going to get the high value purchases because they're going to spend, you have to spend a little bit more money. Okay, just as an example. So now if you want to maintain the ROAS, you need to keep the CAC at the same level as in the ROAS level should be like 2, 2.5 or 3, 3.5, whichever the CAC metrics or ROAS metrics you're working with. Now, without splitting that purchase event into multiple groups, you will struggle hard. I'm sure everyone would have tried maximize ROAS, maximize CPC, maximize value, and maximize conversions. You would have tried, but most of you would have just stick with maximize conversions, but not ROAS because you cannot scale it behind. The reason for not scaling it is because this is what happens in the background. So not only AOVs, you can also do it with categories like I just showed you with RAR. You would be able to do that with categories, men, women. And if you have just women, you would be able to categorize that with kurtis or tops or bottoms, whichever the way you want. You would be able to categorize it and start running the ads in the background. So now that I'll take a 1 minute pause. Any questions so far? Are we good? Only so far, whatever I have conveyed. If you have any questions, any understandings, okay, I'll just quickly go through it. We're almost at the end. So there are 4 things you need to understand. These are the 4 things you need. The first one is A, if any 2 systems powering your whole funnel, please take a hard decision saying, fuck off, don't do it. It breaks my identity. Have one system power it. It can be CustomerLabs, it can be your own GTM, it can be your any other server side, doesn't matter, but have one system powering whole thing. 2, make sure they're attaching the bloody external ID and save it and send it to the systems. If someone is not doing it, they're doing a lousy job and you don't want a partner who is doing a lousy job for you guys. 2, signal engineering. Learn, adapt signal engineering. You don't have to go and practice it tomorrow, but understand. Okay, always remember dog, dog, dog. Always remember that before you launch a campaign. Okay, would it make sense to call it as dog, dog, dog? Would it make sense to call it as German Shepherd or Pomeranian or Labrador? Okay, always remember that dog, dog, dog. That's the cue you should always remember. Okay, it is also true you can actually do it for new NCACs. It is also true you can also do it for repeat customers. You can split those events at repeat customers and returning customers and prompt it. The Facebook has released a study last month, where the ROAS has increased when they're optimizing for new CAC ROAS based options. And I don't know if you have seen this, they also released custom events and maximize value. Earlier, you can actually choose only purchase event for maximize value, but they have released custom events and maximize value very recently. So all those updates are very important to understand what's happening behind the scenes so that you would be able to put your act together and use the data, whatever you have, and push the data, right? So remember that. And a lot of things we can do, a lot of crazy things people are doing. Like, for example, we are working with John Marin. How many of you guys know John Marin? Okay, please go ahead and look to him. He's like if Banu is my demigod, he's a demigod of all marketers in the world. Okay, so go ahead and look up to him. Just hit follow in his YouTube marketing stuff. He teaches a lot of marketers across the world. They make millions, and this guy is like, I mean, this guy is like celebrity in this world. So we work with him, and we power almost 400 brands of John Marin's agency, and he also runs the training courses for other marketers. And recently, we are doing advanced stuff for them. For example, when someone comes to your website, click on ad, and the FB click ID, what you send is the last click FB click ID. So that's what you send by default. But what they wanted to do is they wanted to optimize the algorithm for the first click. So whichever the ad created that awareness, that is what they want to optimize. So what they said is, Vishnu, don't send the last click FB click ID, but if you have the first FB click ID which is available with you, please send that. So whichever the campaign which created the awareness, they want to optimize the campaign, not the retargeting campaigns. Okay, that is the advanced level of stuff these guys are doing, and we are the one who is powering the tech behind it. So we do have the knowledge in India, we do have the motivation in India. We just need to go beyond looking at the what Meta is showing to us. Okay, and the third one is audience. Understand the audience levers very, 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 very well. How many of you have the engaged audience section? How many of you went ahead and people who clicked your ad, people who liked your ad as engaged audience? How many of you know these settings in the advertisement settings? Okay. In that, how many of you went ahead and added video views or clicks in the engaged audience? Okay. Don't do that. Engaged audience is someone who came to your website but did not convert. Okay, and keep the top level funnel audiences at the new audience, because they are very new to you, they haven't been to your website, and they did not engage with you. Okay, don't treat Instagram page as your own page. Your page, your property, or your real estate is your website, not the real estate of Facebook. So anybody who is coming to your website is engaged audience. He's engaged with you, he is showing that intent. Like Deepan mentioned this, right? That high intent. This is what one thing I wanted to learn from SaaS. So we classify pricing pages and all those things, create those groups. So here you create the group like people who viewed product more than twice, not people who comes to your website and bounces off, which is practically like 70-80%. Don't do that. So always create a group which is called as engaged audience or high intent audiences. Only add them there so that you have more control towards what ads are you going to show to them, whether you want to offer, whether you want to go for higher sale, whether you want to increase your ROAS. You would be able to control this here. Finally, I want to show you this. Understand platform level ROAS is practically shit. Okay. Don't trust platform level ROAS. Okay. It may be good to show to your client. It may be good to show to your bosses, saying, I put in 1 rupee, I got 6 rupees. I put in 1 rupee, I got 3 rupees. I put in 1 rupee, I got 10 rupees. But not for you. Okay. Your standards in terms of benchmarking, your standards in terms of how you optimize should be entirely different from what we tell our bosses. Okay, we can tell our bosses whatever we want, that is fine, but the way you should think is entirely based on your own data. Your ROAS inside your own platform or in Google Analytics will be bad. Okay, but don't don't hesitate to accept that, because the trackings will be bad and you won't be able to see through those ROASs. But that's the benchmarking system you should go after. If that is the model, if that is the benchmarking you should go after. When you're trying to optimize for new customer acquisition, give more credit to the top funnel, which is first clicks. If you're optimizing for CPP, doesn't matter. about your CAC, but if you're optimizing for CPP, always give fair attribution for the top funnel campaigns, which is creating awareness, but at the same time, which is creating converting people, because you're optimizing for cost per purchase, not for the CAC. Okay, so understand that deviances. Don't go deeper into U model, S model, Y model, data driven model. Don't worry too much about it. But that is not something you need today. But once you understand all these basics, you would be able to run your performance very, very well. But like I said, don't trust the ROAS of Facebook blindly. Show it to your bosses, be happy, get that increments, whatever you want, but never ever make your decisions based on that. Always have your own data, own benchmarking. And there is a lot more things I can talk about benchmarking, but just for the time purposes, I'll show you quickly what I have been doing in the last couple of weeks. So, KPIs or North Star metrics track like 7, 8, not more than that. If you have 24 metrics, it's not KPIs anymore. It's like a metrics, which is not going to be useful to you. So keep it like 4, 5, or 8, or 10, whichever the goal you have, whether it is new customers, whether it is revenue, or whether it is growth rate, or whether it is certain SKUs you want to sell because the winter is getting over. Whichever the metric you want to go, you go ahead and do it. And next, whenever the metric is wrong, okay, and this 2%, how do you think we are computing this 2% here? 2% down is the metric we are showing. How do you think this 2% metric is down? How the comparison happens? Sorry? Previous period. Last 30 days versus, this 30 days versus last 30 days. That's how it is, right? So again, benchmarking is an art. That's what Kish mentioned. Always track the moving averages. Don't just simply blindly compare this week versus last week. The reason why you fail with this week versus last week is because last week you would have run a sale, or this week you would be running a sale. And when you compare these things, you would go panicking. You feel like a stock trader. My returns has gone down. But don't do that. General stock traders, what they do is they always look at moving averages. They don't panic if something is bad today, but they would try to understand. And how do you understand? There is a concept called decomposing. And how do you decompose? Okay, my revenue go down. What is the important factor that revenue has gone down? So decomposing is basically this. You break down the revenue by AOV and orders. And in this case, the orders have gone down. Now you need to understand orders is again a composed metric. Now you need to go and see why the orders are going, and orders have gone down. My CVR is holding true, but my sessions have gone down. But sessions is an aggregated metric, and you can apply a breakdown. And when you apply a breakdown for the sessions, this is what you will see. And now you exactly know your sessions have gone down from a source, whether your sessions have gone down from a campaigns. Okay. So understand these basic concepts. This is something we are working on. We don't want to release another attribution software where we come to you and say, give me money. I don't want that. I want you to help you. With 4 clicks, 5 clicks, you would be able to go and say, okay, these are the 5 things I need to go and fix. Morning 8 o'clock or morning 9 o'clock or maybe 10 o'clock if you're a lazy bug. You go, you see through things. This is what is failing. You go and fix it. And then you move on to the next important aspect in your life. Okay. I don't want that stress. So with that in mind, we are designing this to understand within 4, 5, 6 steps. Can you go ahead and nail it down? So this is exactly what it is. So understand the concepts of benchmarking, understand the concepts of decomposability, understand the concept of metric trees. Don't just sit with ROAS. Okay. So like I said, everything is changing and this is the time we want to do it. All those things I will post it in the community. We'll engage much further, but then understanding these things, openness to learn is very, very important for us to thrive. Now, I don't want to be polite about this. I'm going to say the future belongs to the signal engineers. Whoever controls the data, what you send it to the Mark Zuckerberg, you don't have to kneel down and pray him for ROAS. They will be kneeling down to you and praying for better data. The more control you have on what you do, it's very simple. It will react. Okay. And finding that right signals for your business or for your client business is where the bloody money is. Okay. Nobody can do it. You would be able to do it. You can put context together and you would be able to do that very, very well than anybody else can. Okay. It is not about switching on or offs. It is not about uploading 25 campaigns and hoping this will work. It is about what is the control you bring in. And that's the strategic narrative I want you to understand out of it. With this, you have more control and you can win a lot of wars. And the reason why I keep on bringing these warriors is because I know the kind of pressure you go through. And if my system goes down just for an hour, I know how many calls I get because your boss is panicking. And Naman calls and says, "Hey, bro, what happened? No, switch off, bro. Let's go to Shopify because my client is not waiting." Okay, that's the level of pressure you go through. I understand. We take our jobs very, very seriously. We work even night 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, even 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. We would actually understand what is the pressure you go through because you will lose your client. You will lose your job. And tomorrow you have to go to your boss cabin and then stand because the ROAS is down. So we will take our jobs generally very, very seriously. That's why I call it you as warriors. And as CustomerLabs, we have only one motto: we live, we die, and we do everything for digital marketers. That is our motto, and that's what we stand for. That is the primary reason why we want to do this summit, and we will do more of these summits. And like I said, zero sponsors, no money. And what we eventually want you to be that top 3% marketer. Okay. I strongly believe we can do more and we can make more money. It's not that West has all the talent. We also have a lot of talent. We also have a lot of energy and motivation to do get all these things. It's just that we need that right mentorship and guidance. We're happy to provide whatever we can. And if you need any help from us, you can always reach out to us. Okay. So we are building this community. We already have about 450 or 500 people there. Okay, please do join in this community and engage, and don't think like a typical performance marketer. Think beyond, and any questions you have, you can interact there. I'm personally there. I'm happy to help you guys out. Okay, so to summarize, 2 3 things: identity plays your game. And if any checkout guys, or anybody who comes and says we will power bottom of the funnel, please tell them to get lost and have one system powering. It doesn't have to be CustomerLabs, it can be anything, but just make sure you actually power with one system. External IDs are your true friends. Make sure you power external IDs with those systems so that when you send the data, they understand who are you talking about. Number second, dog. Okay, remember dog, so that whenever you run a campaign, always remember, is it going to be dog or breed of the dogs? Okay, that's the one question you should always ask. And 3, benchmarking. It is an art. Understand a little bit more about the data, how you do it. Don't just switch on and switch off the campaigns. Understand and put things into perspective. So these are the 4 5 things I want you guys to take out. And thank you very much. And you have been patient. Do you have any questions? Yes, sir.
It was new to me, at least like new to all of us, to learn these stuffs to apply in our actual business. For me myself, where can I learn those?
Oh, this is a community, right?
Yeah.
So we're gonna do as much as possible in the community. There are no books.
Yeah.
There are no books, okay, and there are no things. So follow these people. This guy is there, and Naman there, and Kish has beautiful YouTube channel. He
Okay.
talks a lot of things, okay,
Yeah.
and these guys share their knowledge and put things together. And whenever you cannot put 4 5 things together, that's where the community comes in, and you say, hey, this is what I'm thinking. What do you guys think? And the community guys, or we, or anybody who is there, we'd be able to do it. And whenever our demigod can bless, we can bring him for a webinar, and he can bless it
Cool.
with more knowledge. So that's how it is.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I know you're all feeling sleepy, but I hope I did a better job in explaining things from the ground up. And this is the knowledge I want to share with a lot of people. This is the time I have taken, but I hope I didn't bore you guys. Any questions? you can ask me. I'll be there, or we can actually join in the community and start buzzing it around. And we are happy to answer there as well. Thank you very much. You've been amazing, and let's hear for more. Thank you. Thank you.